Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are going to discuss about relativity of time in the Quran. First of all, I would like to mention that Quran is a book of science. It's a book of ayats which lead you towards God. It is not a book of science, SCIENCE, which gives you scientific equations or other things. But apart from that, there are many scientific facts which are mentioned in the Quran, and there are many sciences, the different subjects of science, the basis of which has been given in different ayats in the different signs of the Quran, that is SIGNS, the ayat of the Quran, which I have discussed in a previous video, sciences in the Quran. So Quran has scientific facts also, and it gives basis for different subjects, medicine, astronomy, and so on and on. The time is not absolute, time is relative. Einstein said that when a man is with a pretty girl, 1 hour feels like a minute, and when a man sits on a hot oven, even 1 minute feels like an hour. So time is relative. The perception is different in both the cases for time. So time is a perceived notion. So time is psychological perception. It is relative. The instance of Quran does not give any equation like E is equal to mc square and like that, but it gives certain ideas about the relativity of time. Quran says in Surah Isra, Surah number 17, ayat number 52, Allah says, Yawma yad'ukum fatastajibuna bihamdi. The day He will call you and you will answer His call by the words of His praise. وَتُظُنُّونَ إِلَّا بِسْتُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And you will think that you tarried but for a little while. In other words, it says, يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْدَ يَوْمٍ, for a day or for a part of a day. When Allah will ask them, for how much time you remained on earth, they will say that we stayed there for a little while, or just for an hour, or just for a day or part of a day. So that is different perception. So they will feel like the whole 70 years average life of a person here on earth, they will feel like that it was just like an hour or like a day. So that is different perceived time which is mentioned in the Quran. Further, Quran says in Surah Sajda, Surah number 32, ayat number 5, Allah says, Yudabbilul amra minas sama'i ilal ard, that He manages all affairs from the heavens to the earth. Summa ya'ruju ilayhi fi yawmin kana miqdaruhu alfa sanatin mimma ta'uddun, that then it ascend unto Him in a time period which is like a 1,000 years of your reckoning. So Allah says, in a day like 1,000 years of your reckoning. So again, that relativeness of time is mentioned here. Further, Quran says in Surah Ma'arij, Ta'rujul malaikatu warruhu ilayhi fi yawmin kana miqdaruhu 50 alfa sana, that the angels and the spirit ascend unto Him in a day, the period of which is 50,000 years. So again, a day equivalent to a 50,000 years. So here a different reference of time is again mentioned, the relativeness of time is again mentioned. So Quran has many ayats which talks about different perception of time, how time is perceived differently. So time is a psychological perception for which Einstein proved it through the theory of relativity, that time is not absolute, it is relative according to each person's reference. So the Quran gives idea about the relativity of time. Further, I would like to mention about one more example which Quran gives about the people of the cave. I will not go into detail about the interpretation about the Ashab-e-Kahf because it has many different interpretation. So it is a story in the Quran, a mystic story. So the Ashab-e-Kahf, they retreated in a cave and Allah caused them to sleep, and when they stood up, they slept for them it was only a day, but for the others where they took shelter in the cave, for the cave where they were there, that was only one night where they stayed. But apart from that, for them time got frozen, like only one day. But for others, the world tarried about 309 years, which Quran says salasa mi'atin sinin wasdadu tis'a, that is 300 years, and some add to it 9. So 309 years has passed, but for them it was only one night. So the Ashab-e Kahf, the people of the cave, they remained in the cave for one night only, but actually 309 years passed, but for them it was only a single night. So again, there it means they landed in future, so they traveled future. So there is future travel which is mentioned in the Quran actually. So for them time freezed. So only one night passed for them, but in actual 309 years had passed. So that is again another reference which Quran makes about the Ashab-e Kahf, the people of the Kahf. There are many different interpretations which can be taken from the Ashab-e Kahf, but I am not discussing that now. I am just giving a reference about the relativity of time. So further, if you look at the distances in the universe, even the closest galaxy, if we could go, which is Canis Major, if we travel by the speed of light, even then it will take about 25,000 years or more for us to reach to the nearest galaxy, which is the nearest galaxy to us, and there are billions and billions of galaxies. So there are so vast distances that our time period, our reference of time period is very small for that. That's why we count it into light years, that the distance traveled by light in so many years. So if we travel, that is 3 lakh kilometer per second, if we travel with the speed of light, then even then it will take 25,000 years to reach to the nearest galaxy. And we don't have even such an spacecraft that we can embark into that, and we can reach about like 25,000 years into the nearest galaxy. Our life is only about average is 70 years, human being life. So how can we make such huge journey of such huge distances? So our time frame from which we look into it is like very short span, like 70 years is our average life, and the distances in universe are so vast that we cannot now comprehend yet as of now we cannot comprehend how we can travel such long distances. So time is relative, and even if you look through the vastness of the universe, we feel like our life is very short, so small it is. Quran says in Surah Ghafir, Surah number 40, ayat number 57, لَخَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ أَكْبَرُ مِنْ خَلْقِ النَّاسِ, that the creation of the heavens and the earth is of a greater matter than the creation of men. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, but most of men do not know. So when we look into the universe, our time frame looks very small. The human history may date back to like 200,000 years or to maybe 10 lakh years. So but if you look into the distances which are so vast, even if you want to travel from one place to another in the universe, our life is very short for that, very small for that. So that's how Quran has made the references about time and space. There are many scientific facts in the Quran which I will inshallah make more videos about that later, but Quran does not give you equations about the theories. Quran does not give you any equations, but it does give you ideas about the sciences, and even many scientific facts are mentioned in the Quran, which inshallah will make more videos about that. But today we talked about the relativity of time. So relativity of time has been mentioned in the Quran, and that too for the idea of which has been mentioned in the Quran 1400 years ago. So that is a great thing, that which testifies that this book is from the source of God, of Allah, the one God. So we should learn and try to comprehend the book of God. Allah says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Do they not try to understand the Quran? Do they not comprehend the Quran, or do they have locked up their hearts? So we must try to understand Quran better, and we must publish or preach it to others so that we can benefit here and in the hereafter. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ.